All right. It's another episode, Who Cares Network, or known as Who Cares Podcast. And I got some things on my mind right now that I want to talk about. So, the title of this is going to be aware of individuals who claim they serve absolutely no one or anyone or nobody. Just be aware. I'm trying to change my verbiage on how I say things, because initially I was going to say be wary or be careful. I was going to utilize some type of form of terminology that isolates individuals who may use that type of terminology, and that's not something that I want to do. I don't want anybody to feel any type of isolation or feel like they're being alienated based on the subject that I'm speaking about at this moment. Now, the title, once again, be aware of individuals who says they serve no one or anyone. I say that because it is the universal purpose, universal obligation for everyone to be of some type of service to someone. And it even starts when we come out the womb. Let me give you an example. You ever heard a terminology from, a mother or father who says that they used to be wilding out or whatever, but they had a child, and a child gave them a newfound perspective, a newfound purpose, a newfound motivation to get their act together or be way more cautious about some of the decisions before they make a decision. At that very point, before a child even recognize and understand what life is, that child has already taken up the obligation of being some type of servants with either the parent, either one. That child is serving motivation for the individual, the parent, to be more mindful of the decisions that they make. There is absolutely no way, no how that you can legitimately go second by second, minute by minute in this life without being of some service to someone. Even if you're an individual, say you don't have any friends, any colleagues, any associates. Say you're a person that is strictly secluded from any type of social interactions. Point blank period. You much rather go through life with your own plans and your own objectives and don't bother no one and pray or hope or expect the same energy to be returned. You don't bother no one, no one bothers you. You are literally, whether you realize it or not, are being of service to, honestly, majority of the individuals that live in this world as well. Because by you're not indulging in any type of social interactions, subconsciously you're not doing anything to provoke or promote unnecessary risks or unnecessary stress to other individuals as well. So no matter way you want to slice it and dice it, okay, you can use another example. Say you're not one to offer anybody any type of service from a mental or spiritual aspect. You can be completely closed off from any type of interaction, but you physically, go to work to pay your bills. You and your bill collector, debt collector, say energy, light bill, you are providing a service. Because y'all simultaneously providing a service to one another. The electric company is providing you kilowatts to enjoy the convenience of circulated, preferably clean air in the comfort of your home. And by them doing that, you decide to pay a fee in order to continuously be a consumer of the kilowatts they're providing. And I'm not talking slow on purpose. Well, I am talking slow on purpose because you recognize things about myself. A little side note, I sometimes get to rambling. So, working on eliminating the rambling phases. But now, in that particular situation, you don't know the light company. You don't know who created it. You may know the name, but y'all have no type of contact or interactions with one another. But yet, you both simultaneously are providing a service for one another. Something that keeps both parties at a place of satisfaction. Give and take, consumer, producer, whatever terminology you want to use. I say just be aware of individuals who says they don't serve anyone. Because there's only two scenarios on why they will say that, they'll make that type of statement. One, they're unaware of what they're actually saying, Or two, they don't realize the impact of the words they are saying. We live in a time to where everything is so vague. Everything is so generalized. Everything is so classified. We put everything in a box. And that's in forms of people. That is in form of occupations. That's in forms of income. In any type of perspective you want to put it in, that's exactly what it is. But in full disclaimer, this is just my personal opinion. It's not generalized fact based, but it's my facts. My facts is just another word for my opinion, my perspective, from my outlook on life. I say be aware simply because the other individual may necessarily not be aware of the power of their words. Everybody has unique situations or unique entities about themselves. Some we can generalize and understand, and some takes a little bit more detail to understand. Side note, right? I'm gonna get back on this. I'm gonna use this example. People tend to ask me, ever since I could remember, why am I a loner? Or they can utilize words like you're distant, you're socially awkward, or whatever the case is. You're not a type of person to want or to desire interactions. I say that because I'm an individual who understands his level of aggravation. I know you're probably thinking, what does that mean? How do you understand your level of aggravation? Like I say, we live in a world where everything is so generalized. My brain does a lot of computing. Let's say that. The way my thought process go is not just red, yellow, blue, direct, like that. As far as the way I collect and gather information. Like, let's use this for example, right? Somebody's unemployed. What's the first thing they say? Man, I got to get up and go find a job. Now, I'm going to say that again. A person that's unemployed, they say, I need to find a job. This is how my mind registers that. Man, I need to find a job. First thing, do you have a plan? Do you have any type of goals in life? I mean, it don't even gotta be nothing written down, but today, Monday, are you planning, are you hoping, or do you have a goal to see Tuesday? If they say yes, then okay, you already have a job. Your job, since you have a plan for Tuesday, your job is to do your best to stay alive on Monday. Keep yourself in the best position in order to see Monday. That's your job. You can even use 10, 20 years from now. Do you have a goal in 20 years? Say a person want to buy a house in 10 years. Your job every day is to do your best to eliminate the risks that will prohibit you from owning that house or buying that house in 10 years. So that's the first thing. You already got a job. You need an occupation. What's the difference between a job and an occupation? An occupation is a specific task, preferably one that you're good at, or even if you're not good at it, even if you don't have any experience in it, that's okay too. To perform that task for a designated amount of time for a specific amount of money or a specific amount of something that you see as value. We're going to just say money because money makes the world go round. Because you're performing that task for that designated amount of time. Once that designated amount of time is up, your job isn't finished. You just completed your occupation for that day. You go to work at 6 in the morning and you get off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You still got another 10 hours until your job is completed, or at least the beginning stages of your job, because you still got to reach your goal. Now your occupation, that was finished at 2 o'clock. So you completed your occupation. You don't need it. Let's say it's not that you need a job. You have a job, unless you're one of them individuals who wake up in the morning and don't have any future plans at all, which I, in my facts, believe is highly impossible. I don't think it's necessarily possible to go through every second of the day and not come up with some type of goal that will be necessary for you to see another day. Alright, so stay with me. Stay with me here. In the short term, your job is to stay alive. And if you're unemployed, you need to find an occupation. Something, a daily task to be performed for a designated amount of time for a specific amount of money in order to pay for your convenience, pay for the convenience of you doing your job daily to reach your goal. That's how my mind takes that. See how, some people, and it's, it all depends on your perspective or whatnot. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. But I know that could be very aggravating. Because it's much more simpler to just say, hey, I need to find a job. It's much simpler just to say I need a job to make some money so I can do whatever I need to do. All that in one. I utilize that opportunity in which I need to make sure that I continuously do in order to keep things separate. Because the one thing about being general, you tend to put everything in a pot and you don't give yourself any type of deadline to reach specific goals. Because if your goal is to buy a house, you need to ensure that you remind yourself that and put in the effort, i.e. save, utilize different opportunities to put yourself in the best position to purchase the house in 10 years. If that's something that you truly, really, really want to do. See that whole thing? That's how my mind took it. That's where my mind goes. And I understand my level of aggravation. That could be very aggravating, annoying, some may even say, to some people. Because they be like, why you just didn't say that shit? It's been much easier, bro, for you just to say you need to find a job because you're broke, or you got some gold things in life that you're trying to do. You're trying to find some level of success, and the only way you're going to find that success is through a monetary format. Yes, that would have been a lot simpler and a lot more time efficient to say it that way. But my goals and your goals may not be the same. And in a perfect world, me thinking on that perspective and you thinking from your perspective should be a gateway, an opening, an opportunity to continue the interaction with one another, to talk, to listen, to speak, to learn, and efforts to coexist. So, when people always used to use the terminology for me, why you so distant, why you such a loner, why you don't talk, I don't mind talking, but just understand when I talk, I'm going to be providing, details or whatnot that you may or may not be accustomed to. And just from my experience living, that's typically the case. People, people have very time restraint energies. People don't really want to make the time to talk with someone and get a broader understanding on why they think the way they think. So I figured it was just much simpler for me to just shut the fuck up. I'm not being, distant. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just being ultimately considerate. Just being considerate of people. Because, and we're going to get back to the initial part of this story. There's some, they had another example, right, that came up on my mind. The difference between smoking cigarettes and smoking vapes, right? Now, I'm doing my best to, continuously quit the tobacco habit, so I'm transferred over to, vape and the vapor gas, the electronic e-cig, whatever you want to call it. They got so many different names now that I can't even keep up with it. Somebody asked me, right, what's the difference between someone that smokes a cigarette and someone that vapes? Because you never really know these chemicals that you put in your lungs, regardless if it's a vaporizer or it's a cigarette. You don't know what it's doing to you internally, either one of them. So I'm not at liberty to say one is better than the other. I put it down like this. And being a long time smoker, the only thing that mattered to me on why I smoked, especially cigarettes, was to have my own type of satisfaction for that moment. You know, the cigarette was something that, you know, either kept me calm or it, you know, it's something I was utilizing to kind of slow things down, basically. Slow my thoughts down, slow that down. And I wasn't being in consideration of my environment or people around me who may not smoke. Because most people don't mind smokers. What they mind is the smell that smoking tends to linger. So people who typically vape, as you can see, when you do vape and you release it, or as a hookah or whatever stuff is, it doesn't leave a stench. It doesn't create any type of distraction. You know, it doesn't put people in a place of discomfort. In realizing the type of individual ultimately that I am, I tend to put more of my energy to be considerate of other people, even if I'm saying my own little funny shit or the hard truth in my head. I do my best to be considerate. One of the reasons why I transfer and still transferring instead of smoking cigarettes is vape. Because I had to get down to the root of it. Why do I smoke? Why do I really, really smoke? And I had to ask myself, do I smoke because I need to, or did I smoke because I wanted to? And you can actually utilize this in any situation in life. Do I need to do it, or do I want to do it? Because if you need to do something, you're doing it because you have absolutely no other choice but to perform the tasks that have to be done in order for your method of survival. Now, if you want to do something, the only reason why you want to do it because you allowed yourself to create a habit. You just create a habit. And if you put in the effort, which when you really think about it, and I know everybody's different, it's not really as hard as we make it more so than it has to be. We make a lot of things a lot harder than what it has to be by continuously focusing on it. The best medicine, in my opinion, or the best remedy, the best way to break a certain habit is to continuously find a way to either utilize your mind or substitute the habit with something else. Now, internally, I don't know if this vape is providing the same amount of damage in my body, in my lungs, than what the cigarettes is doing. There's no way I can verify that. At this moment, I cannot verify that. But what I do know was something that I can verify, was something that I can physically see. This doesn't create as much of a distraction than cigarettes do. And that is majority by way of smell. Because it's still vapor, still steam, still smoke, whatever you want to, gas. It's still, gas being released, but the smell makes the difference. But let me not spend too much time on that. Get back to the initial part of this podcast, this episode, and why we always must remember, no matter if you choose to or you don't, or no matter if you desire to or not, everyone in this world is obligated, willingly or unwillingly, providing some level of service to someone in this world. And if you're an individual who has no friends, no real colleagues, not people that you really interact with on a day-to-day basis, then you are providing a service to majority of people of the world by way of your actions. By staying out the way, you eliminating a level of risk. You're eliminating any type of way to bring forth any type of uncomfortable situations, basically. That's all you're doing. I realize more and more, a majority of people don't necessarily mind some of the things that other people do, as long as they don't bring trouble, trauma, distractions, or anything that's going to put them in an uncomfortable state. Honestly. Because if you stand out the way from anyone, there's no reason for anyone to really, bother you or whatnot. And I say that because, now mind you, all this stuff just be, running through my head. Just so many thoughts, so many, different scenarios that goes through, because that's just the way my brain tend to operate. What I was saying. There we go. You're going to provide some level of service, some way, somehow. And it's like the old saying says, if you're going to have to do something, why not do something that you either enjoy or do something that you take some level of pride in? If you take pride of being out the way, not being a distraction, not wanting to be bothered, then take pride in not bothering people, and don't bring any unnecessary risks or any unnecessary scenarios or situations to occur to where it can bring hostility or bring a certain level of uncomfort. That's all. It's relatively easy. I like to believe, in my opinion, and my fact, I believe it to be easy. Somebody else may feel different, and that's okay as well. But, that was one subject that my mind was pondering. So, and there's something else also that my mind obviously been pondering as well. And that is, the question came to me as I was laying down, taking a nap and sleep. I used to always be team no sleep or whatnot. Sleeping is very, very important. And it's not very, very important because of the cliche, in my opinion, because your body needs to recover and all that stuff, which is also true as well. Your body do need time to recover, but not only just that, your body needs to recover so you can be at a certain peak top level. Sleeping is basically the only thing you could really do that almost 100% won't bring any type of negative energy your way. Who the hell can be annoying, aggravating, cause trouble, causing problems than a person that's motherfucking sleeping? The motherfucker is asleep. If you can aggravate people while you sleep, God, then you're a different person. You're a different type of person. You're a different type of individual. So that's one of the reasons why sleeping is a very, very important thing. Now, it doesn't substitute being we can use the term a nice person, or being a considerate person, or being considerate of other individuals. Ultimately, if you try your best to be, a considerate person, or even a person to stay out the way, there's literally no reason for you to have any scenarios to where you don't have a peaceful sleep. A peaceful sleep, or a nap, whatever terminology you want to use. Whatever terminology, don't even matter. Because one thing I always used to say, and my mind kind of changing, my perspective kind of changing from this particular example I'm about to use. It say it costs nothing to be nice, right? And technically it does cost to be nice. It costs effort. It takes effort to be nice. No matter how minute or how small we may believe, the price of being nice is effort. But you're not required to be nice to everyone. Nah. You're not required to be nice to everyone. But the most courteous and considerate, in a lot of ways, obligation is for you not to be mean. Because we utilize this terminologies, action, reaction. Action, reaction. Every action has a reaction. I don't 100% agree with that. Because just because you choose not to be nice to everyone doesn't indicate that you're choosing to be mean to the same people that you chose not to be nice to. You just don't need to say anything. And with that, revert back to shut the fuck up. We used to have a terminology they used to say all day. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And yes, that has a cost too. It takes effort. I say that to lead up to this. You want peace? You gotta pay for peace. And what's the method of payment that peace only accepts? It's effort. You can't pay for peace with money, because it's only temporary. Because that's you're not paying for technically peace. You made payment for a allotted amount of time for peace. Make sure I say that one more time, because that just came on out. Just come off the top. This is off the top. That's all what I do. No script, all off the top. buying peace with the payment method of money, currency, cash, check, credit, debit, whatever, is not buying you peace. You're not purchasing peace. You are purchasing an allotted amount of time for peace. And depending on the individual that you're paying, they are in control of the time that they choose to meet you halfway in regards of being peaceful with you. Especially if you pay them cash. You can be like, oh my God, she get on my nerves, man. One of my kids, mom, my old lady, my girl, my wife, she get on my nerves. Here, take $10,000, take $5,000, take $100, take $50, take $20. Your kids, anybody, and just leave me alone. Take $10, leave me alone. You can give that $10, and if they choose to say, okay, thank you, put it in their pocket, and now they back on getting on your goddamn nerves. Because you can't put a price. You can't say they overcharging you for something that you offered. You offered to pay them in a method of currency, check, cash, debit, credit, and once the money clear, cash being the fastest process because it's just a hand-to-hand transaction, and that's it. They can literally 1 second later take the cash out your hand, take 1 more second to fold the cash, take another second to take out their wallet or take out their purse, put it in their purse, put their purse up, put their wallet up, and then go right back to aggravating you because you just paid for 5 seconds of peace. So peace is not something that can be brought with currency. It can only be purchased with effort. It takes effort to keep peace, a continuously effort. It takes a lot of holding your tongue. It takes a lot of forgiveness. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a whole lot of psychological energy that we want to give it credit for. That we want to, say. It takes effort to be quiet. It takes effort to utilize your way to stay out the way. It takes hard work staying out the way. Let's use this example, right? You and someone is walking on the sidewalk, right? Y'all both on the right side. What if both of y'all walking the same way, walking in the same format, and neither one of y'all choose to move to the other side in order to pass each other? Now, that smaller effort it took from you from walking on the same side, on the right side, and then choosing to step over to the left so you guys can cross each other, you just paid the price of peace for that moment. Because you can flip it around. What if both of y'all sitting there and both of y'all choosing not to be put in effort, and now you just walk straight into each other? What comes after that? A good chance an argument is going to ensue after that. A misunderstanding, an inconvenience. Something is going to come out of that. Y'all going to bump each other and be like, Watch where you going. I was watching where I was going. I was looking for you. You should have moved on out the way. You could have moved on out the way too. You see how that just happened? Now I looked at my time, right? It literally, this first scenario took less than a second to do. About 2 seconds to do. The second scenario, that can go so many different ways. It can cause discomfort. It can cause negative reactions. It can cause situations to where it could potentially end up being an unfortunate situation. You're opening up the gates for physical harm, mental exhaustion, and ultimately a complete waste of time. All because you did not want to pay the price of 2 seconds of effort in order to keep peace. Courtesy. So I utilize that title, a person that says they don't serve anyone. In my opinion, I look at them as a traumatized or hurt person. You're a person who are mad at the world or mad at something, or something in life happened to where you just want to find a way to provoke that energy and that toxicity on somebody else because you're tired psychologically, mentally, or physically of being what can be considered abused or whatever, even if you're just an asshole. Okay, even if you're just bad, you're still in some way, some form not happy with either situations, yourself, scenarios, something you've been through. It is something. Nobody is mean just to be mean. Nobody chooses to not promote peace for some reason. It can be a reason. Now, whether it's a reason that you agree or don't agree, that's all subjective. That's all up for debate. You know, it's all subjective. Whatever the case is. But the price of peace is so small. And a lot of times we just choose to take the opposite way. Why? Who knows? I do not know the typical of every human's mind, because in all honesty, we all got different perspectives. We all got different thinking. We all utilize different methods and methods of thinking. You know, no one is exactly like the other. It's not a world to where it's not like clothes. It's not like one size fits all. Like everybody is truly, to some core in them, completely unique, completely different, even if the smallest way than the next individual. And we literally live in a world from what we are told, billions of individuals. And we may have certain similarities, but not one thing is exactly the same. Even if it's shaved a different by something as small as a mustard seed or a centimeter or whatever, the smallest measurement that's been recorded, even if it's different by that, it's still no different. It still makes it different, unique. So that was another thing that was on my mind. What else was on my mind, Tim? Well, and I don't even know why I even asked myself that. Like, you got a million things on your mind. Just pick one. Douchebag. Oh, this kind of had a situation where I think I rubbed somebody the wrong way. Rubbed people the wrong way. Now, like I say, my facts, right? My thoughts. Somebody asked me. It's been an everlasting thing as far as people's sexual orientation and sexual preferences, whatever you can. Let's say orientation. Let's keep it to orientation. With the categories that they say whatnot, straight, what it is, well, let's say this. Heterosexual. I mean, heterosexual is an individual who choose the opposite gender. There are homosexuals who choose to find companionship in the same gender, and I guess they say bisexuals is an individual who chooses the company of both genders, but just not at the same time, all the time, right? Might ask me what my definition of somebody asked me what's my definition of heterosexual, right? That was pretty direct and clear. Oh, that's easy. Two opposite genders who find companionship within each other sexually. Simple. It said, okay, what's your definition of homosexual? Two genders that found companionship. Two individuals, or one individual who find companionship in the same gender as themselves. Man, woman. That's whatever. And then it got tricky. It got a little tricky, right? Because then they said the term bisexual, right? And I already identified that. That's a person that likes, who likes to be accompanied by the presence of both genders. Their own specific one and an opposite one. Because when people say the words gay, this is my definition of gay, right? My definition of gay, homosexual, is an individual who never had any sexual experience with someone of the opposite gender, period. Like never. Like a girl who never, a woman who never had any type of sexual intercourse with a male, ever in their life, ever, is what I consider gay. That's what I told them I consider what homosexuality was. Like, what if they at first was heterosexual, then they transferred over to homosexuality? I'm like, nah, I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's the way you can do that. You can't do that. That's where the term bisexual come in which I utilize the word as, because I'm changing my verbiage the way I talk, and I'm changing the way doing my best to not let loose shit just come out my damn mouth, because technically when people identify individuals that prefer both genders, first thing they call them is what? HO. That's the quick go-to terminology. They say ho. I would like to use the term sexually adventurous. Let's just say that. There's no fucking way you can disrespect someone or make someone feel easy by calling them sexually adventurous. Like, hey, you're doing both damn genders, man. You're sexually adventurous, all right? It's a nicer way, it's, and you're not calling them, you're not being derogatory. The person did not fucking agree with me. They said, no, you can go from being heterosexual to homosexuality. I said, no, you can't. I'm sorry. I don't believe you can. I don't believe, as a man, you can, at some point of time in life, had a sexual experience with a woman, and by situation, by whatever, you had an awakening or whatever the case is, now you choose to, enjoy the comfort of your same gender. I don't believe you can consider yourself a homosexual. I don't think you can consider yourself that. I mean, you're just a sexually adventurous motherfucker. Person. Just sexually adventurous. That's all. So people be like, they're like, oh, this gay pride. Like, see, that's to be the problem and shit with this world. Like, bro, like, why we gotta make everything a goddamn debate? Why everything gotta be a damn argument? Why we just can't just try to get somewhat of understanding, not even understanding, just agree to disagree. That shit almost led to a worldwide, almost, not worldwide, but basically a damn argument of a matter of my fact versus your fact. We can argue, we can do all that, it ain't gonna change my mind. Sorry. I'm sorry. Mine is not gonna change. I think, once again, all that stuff is just part of classifications. What you believe is what you believe in. But no, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's, it's like, I look at that, it's like right and left. I mean, left is left, right is right. The middle is middle, like it's no different than like, you're driving a car, you're driving on the street or whatnot. You're either in the left lane, you're in the middle lane, or you're in the right lane. They pull you over for switching lanes, right? Without blinkers, right? Cop behind you, if you go from the right lane to the middle lane and don't put on your blinker, they're gonna pull you over. Why? Because it's a legal turn. That's a legal turn. You didn't allow the people behind or in front of you. You didn't give them a heads up that, hey, I'm about to switch lanes. You caught them by surprise. It's dangerous. That could have caused the accident. Right? Right. You can put that in the same perspective in anything in life, if that makes sense. If you get it, you get it. There's a reason there's blinkers, turn signals on cars, to make people aware of shit, to give people heads up on shit. And I explained that to that person. I explained that. I said, so that's when you do all this different shit and all these different categories and all these different damn words and all this stuff, all these terminologies, these damn orientation, you gay, straight, this and that, this. Like, first and foremost, who gives a damn? I mean, let me not say who gives a damn, because everybody gives a damn. You know why everybody gives a damn? Because people want to be made aware. People enjoy the power of choices. You need to give people choices about what certain things you do in your life if you're going to be indulging sexually with that person. That's why in a lot of ways things used to come out my mouth very, very wrong and very, 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 very I want to say just rough or ragged or whatnot, because I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. I don't think you should be playing both sides of the fence like that. Like, and if you're going to, dibble dabble whatnot, trust me, there's a market for it. You can literally just let people know, what you're choosing to do. But, is it not none of your business? Is it anybody's business? No. But we are a people that are obligated for some level of what? Provide service. That is one of the only obligations that it takes in this world that you must do. You must provide some level of service. And that is the cause to live in this world.